Wala sana school ko teng ta tu tu le. Happy na to nule pa te e wa hi zong ta pula om te e pi ula ni at na pon te. Happy na to na pon te tanang to wala te please talang ayo please ta move. Tu ni sana school ni okay? Come on man. Come on. Where's all the kids? Okay. Masahin, tana, kun pipe masangin masalong dam kau no maia tunin san school ni kuna bay chungin natin to bay dong min tuni kunte zong iya kunte zong ang hoyin be ilamen na sang to pa hoy ni te isang sam ibe pasim minsan na ngatahen tuni san school niya ay panpihi ta nule pahi zongin tana nele don ya tawa ila pitar upate tana pumang tate hi zongin topan nagim tol daw nang ipasinin tana te ko yung piezolo tupa nang pikataw hen iban to siyang tana kakito pi siya te kaya zong iya tana kanu tana ta naw to iya aboy kom kana ayang hi tena za mapan tana san kim hi zongin be ko ilamen na sangin jime hoi zo chen to pa in ai mu sa hi zong ai zang sa hi zong in pe naw pang ka umo sang tam pe bil vel ia hi zong nu le pa i nei pan pina te hi zien to pan nu le pa te to pan tu pan pita hen okay okay it's time to wrap up okay everything's okay we're almost done okay are you guys having fun today yeah. Today is a wonderful day, right? We have games, we have Bible study, Bible lesson, we have crafting, drawing, kickball, foods. What's more you want, right? Other than that, right? So today, just clap for yourself, okay? Okay. I want to thank everyone who participate, who come to the Sunday school day and just enjoying. I know we have a lot of, we like there are things that we didn't match your expectations. But next time we will try to do more, okay? More activity. Amen? Okay, I would like to ask, are you guys tired? Tired? Are you guys full? Huh? Full? Huh? You guys want more food? Okay, after. So, we're gonna go to our lesson. Okay, today's gonna be a Bible lesson. Okay, listen carefully. I have a PowerPoint here. Okay, I'm gonna speak and I'm gonna show you a picture. Okay, so you can visualize it. You can see it. You can like picture in your head what's going on. What am I saying? Okay? So, please give me 10 minutes of your time. Okay? So, no talking, please. No talking. Okay? The front row, please. No talking. So, you have your time, and this is my time. Okay? Only 10 minutes. Okay? So, I would like to ask, have you ever feel like no one was helping you even when you really need help? Raise your hand. Okay? Have you ever prayed and felt like God was not answering? God was nowhere to be found. God was quiet. Have you ever feel like, where's God? I cannot feel it. I cannot sense it. Where is God? Do you guys ever feel like that? Yeah? Okay. Can you think of a time when something had bad happened first, but later it turned out to be good? We might, yeah. So have you ever guys watched a movie where the bad guy seemed to win, but at the end the good guy win? Yes, right? All movies are like that, right? So Can you see, guys? Can you see the winds? Do you guys see the wind? Huh? But how do you know there's a wind? You can feel it. You can feel the force, right? You can feel the force. Okay? So, but can you see God then? Can you see God? Can you sense it? Touch it? No. So how do you know if there's God? Huh? Does that mean He's not there? Right? If you cannot see God, if you cannot touch it, if you cannot sense it, is it He's still working? Does that mean He's still not working? Is it He's absent in your life? Is it He's somewhere else where you are here? So today we're gonna talk about a Bible lesson, Bible story where God's name is never mentioned, where God is nowhere to be found. His name is not even mentioned. His presence is not even mentioned in the Bible. So we're gonna learn about the book of Esther, the life of Esther, the queen of Persia. You guys ever heard that story? Some of you, okay, but this is gonna. So a lot of you don't, okay? So we're gonna learn through from Esther, and what think of yourself like what does God want me to learn from her story? Okay,
Okay?
you guys
You
ready?
guys ready?
Okay, let's
Okay,
roll.
let's
Okay,
go.
so
Okay? So,
long ago,
long ago,
God's people,
God's
the
people, the
Jews,
Jews,
were living far from their country. Okay, and they were in another country called Persia. Can slide on copy today, please. I can feel it here. They were in a country called Persia. Okay,
okay?
Persia is
Persia is
strong.
a
They have
strong,
a
they have
strong
a strong
military.
military.
They rules the
They
world.
rule the world.
They had a lot
They
of. They
allow,
control
they
every
control
part of the
every part of
country,
the
like
country, like
next to them.
next to
Okay,
them.
they were
Okay? They were
powerful
powerful
country. Okay,
country. Okay?
so
So,
and
then
the name of the
the name of
king
the king
was King
was King
Ahasuerus.
Ahasuerus.
Okay, he was a
Okay, he was a
powerful man. He
powerful man.
defeated
He defeated
all like
all like
other
other
country, other
country, other
kings. He
kings.
defeated
He
the
defeated
neighbor.
the neighbor.
Okay, he was
Okay, he was
powerful. And
powerful.
then
And
one
then
day,
one day,
he hosts a like party. He called everybody. He called everyone, all the military commanders, everybody in the city, and he invite them, and he hosts a, they drink, they party, they eat a lot, good foods. It's like a banquet, yeah. And they were having fun. And then the king wanted to show off. He wants to show off, and then he said, "Go call my wife, the queen, so she can dance before all the people." And then the servant, they went to call the queen. Her name was Visti, okay, Visti. And then she refused. I'm not gonna dance in front of drunken people. I'm not crazy. She said she refused to obey the king's command. Back then, when the king said do this, you have to do it. If you don't, you're gonna get consequences. So when the king called the queen to come dance in front of them, she refused. And then he was furious. He got angry. And then, do you know what happened? The king talked to the advisor. You guys know what advisor mean? Who give counsel, who give advice, who give if you don't know answer, you ask someone and they will give you what you should do. They will suggest you something. And then the advisor said, king, you shouldn't be treating your wife like that. If she refuses you should take her crown. And then if she she will set example for the people in the Persia women that they will not obey their husband. So if you will be the example, if you don't act something, if you don't act, if you don't take her crown, the people in the Persian kingdoms will fight against you. And then the king obeyed, and then the king said, Vashti, give me your crown. You will not be the king of Persia anymore. And Vashti will no longer become the queen because she disobeyed the king's commands. So the king began searching for new queens, okay? So across the kingdom, many young women were brought to the palace. And then there's one woman named Esther. She was a Jew. Her parents were dead, and she was raised by her uncle Mordecai. And Mordecai told her, "Don't tell the king that you are a Jew." So she hid her identity from the king. So, and Esther listened. So she found when Esther was more beautiful than the other women. God gave favor to everybody. She found favor to the guy who took care of all the salon, all the hairs, the makeups. You see, she received favor from other people. And then after 1 year, every woman, they will go up to the king one by one to be elected for the queen. So everybody went. Then it was Esther's turn to see the king. Okay? So it was Esther's turn to see the king. So as soon as the king saw Esther, man, he was in love with Esther. She's beautiful. I wanna make her my wife, my queen. Does any guys does that to you guys, lady? Huh? Oh, she's beautiful. Huh? Huh? Yes. Okay, some of you. Okay. Okay. So the king loved Esther more than the other women. Okay. So he placed a crown on her head. So Esther became the queen of Persia. So can you move? So one day, Mordecai, who was Esther's uncle, was sitting next to the king's gate, and she heard two guards whispering, "Let's kill the kings. We should take over all his kingdoms. If we kill the kings, we will be more powerful than anybody." And they whispered to each other, and Mordecai heard about it. And then he told Esther, the two guards are planning to kill the kings. And then Esther reported to the kings, and then the king got mad, and the king called the two guards, and he kills them. And then the good news was in Mordecai's behavior, good deed was written in the king's book of records. So this is going to be very important later in the story, okay? So after this, a man named Haman was promoted to high position in the kingdom. The king commanded everyone to bow down before him. He was very prideful, boastful. Yes, I am the highest under the king. Everyone should bow before me. Everyone should respect me. If you don't, I'm going to do something. I can kill you. I can put you in prison. And then the people got afraid. And then whenever Haman said, "Hey, bow before me," they bowed. But there's one guy who did not bow. It was Mordecai. Because to bow before someone means you worship that person. But Mordecai said, "No, I'm not going to bow before Haman because I only bow before God. I don't worship Haman. And then one of Haman's servants said, "Hey, Haman,
Amen.
you know
You
that
know,
guy
you know that guy, Mordecai?
He was still
He was
standing
still
when you
standing when
said,
you said,
bow to you,
bow to you,
bow to me."
bow to me.
And Haman got
Haman got
angry.
angry.
And
And
he found that
he
he was
found that
true.
it was true.
And they
And then
laid in
late
that
in that
moment,
moment,
and that
from
on,
that on,
Haman hated
Haman
you.
hated you.
He was angry with the Jew. I'm not just gonna kill Mordecai. I'm gonna kill all the Jew in Persia. He could just kill Mordecai, but he said, I'm gonna do more. I'm gonna kill all the Jew, everybody who's like Mordecai. I'm gonna wipe them off. So that was Haman's plan. Okay, so Haman
Haman
got a
got a treatment.
then
Then
Haman went to the
Haman went
king.
to the
He
king.
said,
He said,
"King has
King has
arrest.
the rest.
We should
You know,
wipe
we should wipe
the Jew.
the Jew.
One day,
One
if
day,
they grow,
if they get large,
if the
if the
population's gonna grow,
population's gonna grow,
they're gonna
they're gonna
fight against
fight
you.
against you.
They're gonna do
They're gonna do
something
something
best to our
best to our
kingdoms.
kingdoms.
So we
So
should
we
kill
should
them."
kill them.
And then the king
Then the king
agreed
agreed
to
to
kill all the
kill
Jew.
all the Jews.
But he didn't
But he
know
didn't
his
know
wife was
his
a
wife
Jew.
was a Jew.
His wife, the
His
queen,
wife,
was
the
a
queen,
Jew.
was a Jew.
He didn't know
He didn't
it.
know it.
So he didn't know it. So, but he signed the paper, and then all in Persia, the law was passed. So there was a day that every Jew will be killed. So the day got near, and then when Mordecai heard that Haman's plan to kill the Jew, he tore his clothes and then cried out loud, "Why?" He cried out to the Lord. Knowing that every Jew is going to be killed. Mordecai was devastated. And then he had a plan, okay? So he tell Queen Esther, you know Haman, the guy who was promoted to the highest position in Persia? Yeah. He's trying to kill the Jew. He's going to kill every Jew. Even you, Esther, if you don't do something, don't you think the king's not going to kill you? He's going to kill you. But Mordecai encouraged Esther to do something. Esther, you are the queen of Persia. You have connection with the kings. Do something. Who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time like this? You see, Mordecai is saying to Queen Esther, you're not just, you see, you're a queen, but there's got to be a reason why you become a queen of Persia. God put you in this place. So I think there's something you should do. Or if you don't act, if you don't do it, you will die too. Then Esther realized God may have put her in the position of queen for reasons. Nothing is a coincidence. It was God's purpose. So then Esther said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Okay?
Okay.
Pray
for,
tell all
the Jews to pray for me.
For 3
For
days.
3 days,
I'm going to pray. If I perish, if I get killed, I will get killed. But I'm going to go. But Esther said, but, that during those days, even a queen cannot just go to a king palace. If she go without invitation, without the king calling you, you will get killed. So, you know, that, that's why Esther said, if I get killed, I will die, no matter what. I'm gonna die for my people. If the king kills me, but I'm gonna go anyway. So if I can save my people from Haman's plan, Haman plans to kill my people, the Jew. So Esther fasts, and when he fast, do you guys know what fasting means? What is it? When you do not just eat, but when you pray, when you connect to the God. Not just eat, okay? Okay, you pray and you fast, okay? Two things, okay? So she fasts, and when she fasts, first she didn't know what to do. But when she fasts, God gave her wisdom. We talk about prayer, right? When she prayed to the Lord, she didn't know what to do. She prayed to the Lord, and then the Lord gave her wisdom, and then there's a plan that will save his people. So Esther prayed, and then she went to the to the king's place, to the palace. Maybe, like shaking. Okay, what is the king's gonna do? She's might be afraid, when she approached the king, close to the king, but when the king saw her, like the first time he saw, like he was in love, he's like, oh, Esther, come in. What can I do for you, Esther? I can give you half of my kingdom, Esther. What can I do for you? Then Esther said, instead of answering the king's question, Esther invite the king and Haman to a special dinner. At the dinner,
The king asked again,
but Esther
but Esther
invited
invited them
another
to another
dinner. So
dinner. So
there's two
there's
dinners.
two
The
dinners.
first one,
The first
the
one,
king asked,
the king
what do
asked,
you want?
what do you want?
She didn't answer.
She didn't answer.
And then
And
Esther said,
then
okay,
Esther said,
let's have
okay,
another
let's have
dinner.
another dinner.
So
So,
so on the
so on the second one,
before the second dinner, before it happens, the king couldn't sleep. The king couldn't sleep. He asked for the books of the record to be read to him. Back then
then
in
in
Persia,
Persia,
if you do
if you do
something, if you
something,
do
if you do
good
good
something to the
something to
kings,
the kings,
like
like
Sankai,
Sankai,
he saved the
he
king.
saved the king,
Sankai saved the
Sankai
king
saved the king
from
from
the
from
snake,
the snake.
from the pig, maybe. Sankai is strong, you see. Sankai did something good to the king. And then when the king read that, I will reward Sankai, you see. And then when the king's servant said, read to him the record, and he reads on Mordecai's good deed, where Mordecai saved the king from the two guards who tried to kill him. And then the king said, Mordecai had never been rewarded. What should we do? If you do something good to the king will reward you. Right? So the next morning, Haman came up to the palace, planning to ask the king to kill or hang Mordecai. But before he could speak, the king asked Haman, what should be done for the man the king wants to honor? Haman thought, this must be about me. I think the king's talking about me. I have done good things to the king. I am the second highest position in the kingdom. He was thinking about himself, while the king was thinking about Mordecai. And so he described the great honors. And the king said to Haman, do all that. Go call Mordecai, honor him. And he did shamefully. And Haman was shocked. And the man he hated was now honored by him. At the
At
second
the second
dinner,
dinner,
then the
then
second
the
dinner
second
take
dinner
place.
take place.
The king
The
asked
king asked
Esther
Esther
again what
again
she
what
wanted.
she wanted.
This time she
This time
spoke,
she spoke,
if I have
if I
found
have
favor, save my people in my life. Someone wants to destroy my people. Someone wants to destroy us. The king was furious. What? Who could that be? Esther pointed out, this
this
evil
evil
Haman wants to
Haman
kill
wants to
my
kill my
people. The
people. The
Jew.
Jew.
The king was
He
filled
was
with
filled with
anger.
anger.
Like,
Like,
what?
what?
You could have pushed
Push
everything. Like,
everything. Like,
what?
what?
And Haman's plan was stop it. And then do you guys know what punishment Haman got? He was hanged where Mordecai's going to be hanged. He was killed. And
And
then
then
the king
the
passed a
king
new law
passed a new
saying
law
that
saying
the
that
Jew
the
could
Jew
defend
could defend
themselves.
himself.
So when the
So
day
when the
came
day
for the
came
Jew to
for the
be
Jew to be
punished to be killed, instead of being
destroyed,
the Jew
the Jew
were
were
winning. They were
winning. They were
victorious. They
victorious.
defeat
They
their
defeat the
enemies.
enemies.
Everyone who's trying
Everyone
to
who's
kill
trying to
them.
kill them.
So
So
that's the
that's the
story.
story.
That's it. But who is the hero? I want to ask everyone. Who is the hero in the story? Who is the hero in the book of the story? Anybody?
Anybody?
Pipia.
Vivian.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyone?
Anyone?
No way.
No way.
Okay,
Okay,
Esther.
Esther.
Okay.
Okay.
Anybody?
Anybody?
I want one
I want
more.
one more.
Someone.
Someone.
The king.
The king.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. There's
Okay,
three.
there's three.
The king,
The king,
God,
God,
and
and
Esther.
Esther.
Okay?
Okay?
So in the
So
story
in
of
the
the book
story of
of
the book of
Esther, we
Esther,
might
we
think the
might
hero
think the
is
hero is
Esther,
Esther.
who's
He's
brave,
brave,
Mordecai, the
Mordecai,
king who has
king.
the power to control everything. But the real hero of the story is God.
Is God.
Okay, people
Okay,
got
you
right.
got right.
God is the
God
real
is the
hero.
real hero.
But we don't
But we
see,
don't
but
see,
we don't
but we
see
don't
God's
see
name in the
God's name in
books.
the
Do
books.
we?
Do we?
We don't hear God's working. Or we don't hear God speaking to Esther or to Mordecai to do that. We don't hear God's hands working. So here's how I want you guys to remember this, okay? Even though God's name is not mentioned, we still see God's hand. God is working in the book of Esther. Okay? So let me show you how. Okay? So when Queen Vashti refused to dance in front of the kings, her crown was taken, and then who rose to be the queen? Esther, who was a Jew. So no, that's not a coincidence. It was God's plan, okay? So, and then Mordecai, who was sitting like next to the king's gate and heard the two guards planning to kill the king. Was that an accident? No. Okay? And Haman's evil plan. Who knows? But Mordecai heard about it and then told Esther about it. And then one night, the king, he is powerful. He had everything. He could, like Solomon, he could have hey, I want to listen to music. He could have invite the most famous singer in that time. He could have the best food. He could have really like the best, he could have, if he wants something, he could have it, but he couldn't sleep for one night. And the rest, he could sleep. But one night, he couldn't sleep. But that night, it was God's plan. It was God's working. And then, when we look at the whole story, through Esther's, God saved his people from their enemy. Okay? So the book of Esther, like every detail, if you read it, if you read it, it's gonna look like it will not make sense. But when you realize that God is working, you're like, oh yes, God is working. God is working in my life, okay? So I want you guys to think, okay? Uh, what do you guys feel when you feel
When you feel
scared?
scared,
Is
is
God's
God's
is God's
is
nowhere to
God's
be
nowhere
found?
to be found?
Does God
Does
leave
God
you?
leave you?
God doesn't
God
leave
doesn't
us.
leave us.
When we are struggling, when we couldn't sleep, when our families are facing problems, God is still with us. So, though the name of God doesn't appear in the book of Esther, God is everywhere. God is the only reason Esther was successful. He's constantly protecting, watching, and directing. Do you guys know like movie director? Yeah, right? Do you guys see director in the movie? Who made the movie happen? The directors. Even though we couldn't see him, but when we look at the movie, it was perfect. It was a good movie. It becomes my favorite movie. Why? The directors control the story. So even though we don't see even though we don't see it, even though we cannot touch it, even though we cannot smell it, maybe God is there. God is working. Okay? God is working. So sometimes it is hard to see God's working in our life, but that doesn't mean He's not working. He is working. Okay? So when you're like, you're sad. But don't just stop there. Okay. Lord, like when we learn about prayer, Lord, today I'm sad. Help me to have a good day, Lord. Does God answer our prayer? He answers our prayers. So if we ask, if we pray to the Lord, He will help us. He will give us whatever we ask in His name. Okay, so God have a plan for us. Okay, so just because you're little doesn't mean I'm little. God's not gonna use me. I cannot sing. I cannot dance. I cannot read. Don't be discouraged. God will use you. Okay? God will use you to be a worship leader here, to play the piano, to play the drums, to be a pastor here, okay? Or to clean up, to be a janitor, or maybe the song, where you're gonna control the PowerPoint. You see, God can use you. Or maybe in the hospital, maybe at school when you grow up, or when you become like teenager. I heard someone when I asked them, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I think she said, "I want to be a teenager." Yeah, they want to be a teenager. Okay, so when you become a teenager, God's gonna use you. Okay, and some of you say, "I want to be an engineer. I want to be like my father." You see, some of you said, okay? So, yeah, God's going to use you. God's going to make you a father, okay? Amen? So, God can use you, okay? So when we're facing trouble, let's pray to the Lord, okay? Okay, guys, come here up front, okay? Let's wrap it up, okay? We're going to pray, ask God.